Hello and welcome to African Market Explained, a podcast by Bangdaba, Africa's largest startup diaspora community. Here, we leverage insight from experts to bridge the knowledge gap about startups and startup investing in the African tech ecosystem. I'm your host, Tomiwa Onoleye. In the ecosystem, we hear a lot about founders raising funds, but not so much about the hard stories behind it. On this episode, we will be premiering a series on the fundraising experience of founders in Africa. To kickstart, I have invited a second-time founder, Adeshina Adewumi, the founder of Trade Lenda, to share his experience with us. Here's a taste of what's to come.
I can remember when we were at that peak and we needed some good funds. I discovered that someone had been trying to reach out to me for months. And I just wrote something, I said, oh, we need this, this is what we're going to use it for. And the person said, check your DM. And I checked and I saw that this has been trying to reach me. This was in December 2019. And I saw that this had been trying to reach me since, maybe July thereabouts. So for months, the person has been calling me, but I haven't been sending the call for some strange reasons. And then within 48 hours, I got the first cash, to prepare us for it.
Hi, Adeshina. Welcome to Africa Market Explained.
Hi, Tomiwa. Thank you very much for bringing me to this platform. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to our audience listening today.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. To start, can you tell our listeners a bit about yourself and the problem you're trying to solve at Trade Lenda?
All right, so my name is Adeshina. I'm the CEO at Trade Lenda, and Trade Lenda is actually entrenched in solving challenges, in bridging access to market and finance for small and medium-scale businesses. This is rooted in an historic defining moment, where growing up, I saw my mom, struggle with her business because she couldn't get access to timely capital, and then seeing how this business evolved over time to becoming that mainstream of income for the family and helping us to be able to become who we are today as a family.
Quite interesting, I guess there's a few things you want to tell people about what you've achieved at Trade Lenda.
Yeah, so at Trade Lenda today, we've been able to grow a thriving community. We have over 245,000 MSMEs within, our corridors. And we've been able to facilitate, at least a lower percentage of finance for those MSMEs, either directly or indirectly. Financing is a major issue. So we've been able to either give them access to inventory finance or put them on track, towards being able to get access to finance in the future. We organize programs, capacity building programs such as the Trade Lenda MSME Fair, which we had, we did twice. We had two events, last year, and this year we're going to be having two events again, one in April and one in August of 2024. The goal is to be able to better position these MSMEs, help them to be able to stand a chance, within a very highly competitive market, as well as also, struggling global economic challenges that we face, not just in Nigeria, but across the world. We want these MSMEs to continue to create jobs that they know how to do. In retrospect, if we look at the statistics, you will see that these MSMEs today account for over 90% of jobs, that we have across Africa. It means that these MSMEs are the engine, still contributing over 50% of the GDP. And this is why we are very passionate about helping them to be able to move from where they are currently underserved, where they are currently maybe even on the bank or not even banked at all, to helping them become banking, to helping them become more inclusive, having access to finance, and even having access to legal markets for them to be able to fulfill their full potential.
Wow, that's nice. As soon as you're changing lives. I guess jumping into the fundraising question, I guess for you to grow to the stage you are today, you have raised funds in one form or the other. How was the experience fundraising compared to how you started in the first place?
I would say that my own case was a bit different, because again, I've dedicated the last, 7 to 8 years of my life fully on helping MSMEs to achieve their full potential. I used to work with Stanbic IBTC. After leaving the bank many years ago, I decided to focus on this part of helping MSMEs to leverage on my experience and also the experience of several others we've been able to attract to the team. So it was quite easy for us to attract our first funding even before we started. But the truth is, the global economic, challenges, has kind of swept a kind of new way in the market. So a whole lot of people or new entrants are actually struggling to be able to, get access to capital the way we had enjoyed it, in the past. But again, the reality is that the first point of call when it comes to fundraising is actually friends of the family. Before you start looking at whether it's angels or VC, you have people that trust you, people that believe in your potentials, that they know whether you're going to fail or you're going to succeed. And they've seen even what you've done in terms of track record. They're the first point of call whereby you can raise at least between 20 to maybe 100K, to actually validate your solution and your offering to the market. And this is what we did when we first started, going to those that knew us, engaging with them, sharing the idea, and helping them to be part of the vision that we have for the small and medium scale businesses.
Nice. I'm just imagining that when you first left Stanbic 7 years ago, and you wanted to go to the startup world, and you needed to raise fund. Like, how was the first experience trying to raise your first check to build what you are passionate about?
The truth is, I didn't even know anything about how to raise funds when I left Stanbic IBTC. It's quite funny, but that's the truth. Because when I left Stanbic IBTC, I just wanted to, support these businesses. I felt, access to market was a major issue. Access to finance is a major issue. Let's see how we can bridge it, But I never thought I myself needed finance as a small business owner or as someone who is just starting, to actually be able to really support these guys. I just thought, I'm from the bank. I should be able to get access to it. But the reality is it was quite tough because, again, there was no track record. Working in the bank is not sufficient as a track record. Yes, I had a couple of people who still believed in me, so previous people who had encountered with me at various stages of growth. But again, people need to see what you are capable of doing over the years, that when it becomes easier. But one of the things that I can say really changed the trajectory was the fact that I leveraged on strong mentors and also, strengthened and built my inner circle. In terms of relationships, meaningful relationships actually helped me thus far to where I am today. Either in terms of introductions, where I don't, I've never even thought that people would mention my name, or perhaps, somebody just, putting a word in. That has really helped. I leverage a lot at my early days, and I still do, even till today. People feel like there is no need for you to have a mentor, but even your mentor has a mentor. Everybody has somebody, who they can leverage on, to be able to get results, to be able to achieve the next phase of growth, or maybe the next phase of their career, growth, that they are looking out for. So the value of mentorship cannot be overemphasized. The value of personal development cannot be overemphasized. I did not get it, when I first started. But the truth is, as I progressed, I can remember when we were at that peak and we needed some good funds. I discovered that someone had been trying to reach out to me for months. And I just wrote something, I said, we need this is what we're going to use it for. And the person said, check your DM. And I checked, and I saw that person has been trying to reach me. This was in December 2019. And I saw that person had been trying to reach me since, maybe July thereabouts. So for months, the person has been calling me, but I haven't been sending the call for some strange reasons. And then within 48 hours, I got the first cash, to prepare yours forward.
Wow, that's interesting. Going back to something you mentioned initially, talking about the angels or family and friends as being the first point of contact when you want to raise funds. Like, what type of investors have you raised funds from, and how did you approach these different type of investors?
Well, at the early stage of fundraising, whether it's received, whether I see, it's really an art. So I don't think there's really one size fits all as regards to fundraising. But what has worked for us is constantly putting, what we do out there, and people who are interested in the vision. Remember, not everybody likes to work with people doing financial inclusion. Some people are focused on just healthcare. Some people have a personal, experience that whenever you talk about healthcare, they are ready to give you everything they've saved, it as an investment to commit or to help you really, really solve that health challenge because they've experienced it and they don't want others to also go through it. Some people is financial inclusion because they've had that experience, seeing how very little was able to prepare them to where they are. Why some is education. They owe everything they have today to quality education. So if you are in the edutech, they would help you. So for me, the first funding, like I said, that we finally received was just from a post. So it wasn't as if I was doing anything. But obviously, the person has seen our progress. And then by the time I said we needed XYZ, the person reached out and said, check your DM. Meaning that they have been trying to reach out. I didn't even notice. It means that people are always watching. That's a lot that's it. So whether or not you're actively trying to raise, people are watching, people are observing, seeing how you are actually progressing. So when they said check your DM, I checked and then, we met the next day and within 48 hours, like I said, from the time he said check your DM, I had cash in dollars, with me for an investment. And I think from then on, we've raised from angels, we've raised from, accelerator programs, we've raised from even proper pieces, So yeah, but again, like I said, there's no one size fits all. It's about you just finding what works for you. But the greater and stronger your network, the more easier it is for you to raise because those are the first people observing. Those are the first people who would also make introductions to the next people who can give you a bigger size ticket for you to achieve the next milestone.
That's awesome. Touching on that last point you mentioned, talking about support, I remember that one of the things, we've had several interactions from when were running One Chaos Africa and now when you were having banter by, talking so that we could leverage each other's network to actually, get that investor in through. Can you just touch a bit more about the importance of having a very extensive support when it comes to fundraising in Africa?
So, the way it works in Africa is we are people oriented. Africa is I don't want to say it's a nation. People think it's a nation, but it's not a nation. It's a continent, that people, feel comfortable when they get, introduced from someone they trust. So the key factor here is trust. So having a strong support system really, really helps. If you look at those companies who have done successfully well, whichever metrics you look at it, whether it's fundraising wise or maybe even product wise, they're actually people who have built a strong community. It's either they harness the opportunity from the existing community that exists or they build theirs from scratch. So support system is very important. And this is what your platform, and others, have really provided for entrepreneurs to be able to leverage on. You have a whole lot of them all across Africa. If you want to raise funds from a foreign investor and there's no local person that believes in you, that person will be skeptical because they don't know you. Maybe they haven't even stepped their feet, in Africa. They just hear about, the issues and the challenges in Africa. They don't understand the market. They need somebody in Africa to be able to vouch for you, to be able to also commit that they also have a skin in the game to work with you through this journey. And again, nobody knows it all. So it's always important that you leverage on the experience of others. They might not be founders, they might not even be investors, but again, have advisors or have people, or a support system that you can always leverage on.
Hey, thank you very much for that. So to round up, let's have something to say to the founders that are listening to us. What do you wish you knew now before you started fundraising? What are those things you think you should have known before you started fundraising?
So fundraising is not the end game. The end game is staying alive. The end game is for you to have a product that the customer wants. Fundraising is just a catalyst to propel you to the next stage. One of the first mistakes I made, in my previous startup, I was, believing that, fundraise, then grow, and it's very, 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 it's something that is common, within the tech ecosystem. You get the fundraising, you are not sure if you've actually achieved product market fit, and then you just burn cash. For me, I strongly believe that that's not the way to go. And if you have investors who also think that's the way to go, then you need to actually be conscious that those are not the right investors for you. It has to be a blend of high growth and also sustainable growth. Because let's take, for example, those who are not generating revenue at all and have raised millions of dollars. They're still in the same position with those who have not raised at all today. So you need to be conscious about raising too much, raising before you need it, raising before you even achieve product market fit, because there would always be a need of where to spend the money. The question is, are you actually spending the money in the right place, or you just spending the money because the money is available? And those are mistakes also that investors make. Some investors just think, because he went to Harvard, because he has worked with Google, or because he has worked with Alibaba, he's going to be successful. No, he's not going to be successful. Let him even build something. Let's see the track record. Let him even achieve something before you start foiling him with, millions of dollars. At the end of the day, he shuts down, everybody moves on, and then the investor has to take the sour pill. But again, there are situations beyond the control of some founders. And within this ecosystem, there are also situations or instances where investors tell you, I'm going to give you $300,000. They sign the paper, they sign the term sheet. And then this founder with maybe $200,000 already dropped, runs to achieve the next milestone, believing that $300,000 is coming before the end of Q1. And then the $300 never comes. So those investors, please stop doing it. It's not good. If you don't have the cash, don't sign any term sheets. We all understand, but again, I think I'm shaking too much table today. But
I think it's good to call out the bad players in the ecosystem.
Yeah, we can call it actually.
And we can't call it, but we can say what it's wrong.
Yeah, I don't sign the term sheets. Just let the invest, because you see this VC and the startup, this thing, we're all building something. The only thing is one person is building money in terms of getting money to give to the founders, while the other is building a product to give to the end users. So let's not waste our time. Let's not, be that element that propels the failure of the other party. Same for founders. Don't be that element, that makes, a VC not be able to raise subsequent fund. If you're not ready for it, don't take it. Don't be greedy, But again, the fund manager, VCs, don't. I'm very serious. There are a lot of people who are at the verge of shutting down, even as we speak right now, because their money has not come. They've announced, they've made a lot of noise, but the money has not come. Please, let's not do that. It's not healthy for the ecosystem as a whole.
Thank you very much, Adeshina, for sharing your wealth of experience. This has been a lot. You've asked very difficult questions and shared very, very insightful thoughts. Thank you for coming on. Hopefully, we can have you back again when you race your next round.
Only we don't encounter those who we say is coming for why.
Well, that was good. Thank you very much. For our listeners, you can follow the growth of Adeshina and Trade Lenda on LinkedIn at Adeshina Adewumi John. I just noticed your last name, John, on LinkedIn. That's good. Thank you very much again. Thank you for listening. What are your top takeaway from the conversation with Adeshina? My topics are: 1. That fundraising at an early stage is more of an art. There is no one-size-fits-all strategy to fundraising. It depends on the type of investor and what you are building. 2. The importance of trust and a strong support system while raising the African tech ecosystem. 3. That VCs without capital should stop signing term sheets as it affects founders' plans and increases the risks of startup failure. What are yours? Share it in the comments below. Did you learn a lot from this episode? You can learn more by clicking the subscribe button to get reminder on all the juicy content we share. This podcast was brought to you by Bantaba, Africa's largest startup diaspora community. Get in touch at contact@ourbantaba.com or ourbantaba on social media if you are a startup that is fundraising or a diaspora looking to explore the African tech ecosystem. Goodbye. See you next time on Africa's Market Explained.